Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the day is finally here. It's the 15th of November, which means at long last Linkin Park have made their return with From Zero. I've been very excited for this project ever since it was announced. Of course, I'm a big Linkin Park fan, and I have been for a long time. And of course, you know, with them being inactive from, of course, 2017 and onwards, it only made sense for them to, you know, be inactive. But, you know, since they announced that they was getting the band back together with Emily Armstrong, a lot of people are skeptical. A lot of people still don't like the idea of it, but I'm open to it. At the end of the day, I've missed this band so much, and then putting out new material. I thought the demos from Hybrid Theory and Lost demos from, you know, Meteora were amazing. So if anything, it just starved me of new material, and finally we got that with the Emptiness Machine a few months ago. I thought that was amazing. We reacted to Heavy as the Crown here, and I enjoyed that a lot. And I am aware that they released Over Each Other and recently Two-Faced as singles, but I didn't check them out. I decided to wait until the album's fully released, and here we are. Been looking forward to this a lot. I've already read a few reactions about this online, and they're mixed to say the least. My webcam's crashed. Huh. Right, we've gone for the classic approach of unplug everything at the back and replug it in again. So we'll see how that pans out for us. I don't know how this is happening. This is the first. I've unplugged the second screen as well because that might be causing interference, but oh well, we'll find out. Let's carry on. If it happens again, then I can understand why this isn't everyone's kettle of fish. It doesn't feel fully like Linkin Park, but I love it. It's just such a good song. I remember when this song came out, I was like, I had a lot of mixed emotions, but it grew on me so fast. Lyrics are also really personal as well, and I love that touch. Okay, new song, Cut the Bridge. I'll have to guess the lyrics for this one, thank you. This is an interesting one. Hello. I wouldn't have expected it anything like this after what we've already heard from this. But then again, like I said, I didn't hear the other two singles. It's got a vastly different feel to the Emptiness Machine. It's like, it almost gives me soundtrack vibes to some extent. It's quite an odd track. I'm not too keen on that one. Yeah, I'm not really keen on that. Now, this is a song that we have listened to and we have heard, and I do like this one a lot. This is really good. Very Meteora inspired. When you listen to this track, Emptiness Machine, and then obviously that previous one, Cut the Bridge, whatever it's called, they sound like it doesn't belong on the album already. It's so like out there. It's a different song. Heavy crown. If you want to see my full proper reaction to that, then obviously go and watch the video on the channel about it. But yeah, no, I still like that song a lot. I listen to it often. It's a good song. But here we go, new song. Well, newish. Over Each Other. I've heard nothing of this. Interesting. Looks like this is probably going to be a Emily solo song. We had a lot of Chester solo songs. Sort of like leave out all the rest. So obviously it's a huge change of pace after the last song, but I'm kind of liking it. It's like I said, it's just a slow, softish, hardish rock song. There's some very good vocals. Very impressive vocal display, I'd say. That was a good song. I enjoyed that one.
Okay, get your screamy pants on.
Again, hell of a change of pace. It's a very crunchy bass. Definitely more aggressive tone of song, but if I had to like draw comparisons, like as far as the general flow structure and you know the guitar lead track goes, this is something Junson Owe would write. But at the same time, if we're comparing it to past Linkin Park, I'm gonna say this is closest to QWERTY. I don't know how to feel. It's like, it's not bad. It's not a bad song, but it's like, I don't know if I'd listen to it. A long intro. This is such a strange, strange song. You can tell it's an experimental track. It's like... Oh god, what's it called? It's sort of like What Do You Want From Me and Somebody Else's On the Death of Peace of Mind. This is like something they'd put in a Transformers movie. You know, they always have to draw the comparison online to Linkin Park and Transformers. This is fight scene Transformers music. I can see this one growing on me a lot the more I listen to it. Cause, like, these kind of, like, odd, vibey songs, they grow on me pretty fast. On a first listen, it's like, it takes me aback, because I'm like, I didn't expect this. But it's not a bad song. This is another single that they released very, very recently, like a day or two ago. Alright, alright, have a good time. Alright. It's picking up. This is like something you'd hear from Hybrid Theory. Absolutely. It's Hybrid Theory, but missing those samples and minor little DJ parts. Obviously, it's got the scratches, but it's the sampling that's lacked from this song, which takes it away from Hybrid Theory. But those similarities are there. But then again, it could belong on Meteora.
That's what it is.
You can tell they had fun with that one.
We're on the same page.
Okay. It's a nice bit of range. Stay. Oh shit. It takes that hip hop element, but it doesn't fuse it with the rock quite like Hybrid Theory and Meteora do. It leans more into the hip hop. That's a very addictive chorus. I'm going to catch myself singing this one a lot. I enjoyed that one. It's different, but I like it. It's just something about it. Reminds me a bit of the Two-Face track, but it's more leaning into those Hybrid Theory elements. Interesting. There we go, the final track already. Good things go. Good things do go. Rest in peace. I could see this song getting played on like UK radio. It feels like a radio song. But then again, that wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing, because like back in the early 2000s, Linkin Park was massive on UK radio stations, you know, as was rock in general. Nowadays, it's practically unheard of to hear a rock song on UK radio channels, apart from dedicated rock, channels. It's a royal shame. It's always just pop music now. They don't play anything else. I remember when Kool-Aid by Bring Me the Horizon came out and it got pretty big. I think like 1 or 2 radio stations played it a few times, but it didn't last long. Gather our thoughts, shall we? Okay, it was an interesting way to end on more of a somber note, I suppose, but the way that it just crescendos at the end implies they're going to release a deluxe edition and that's going to go into something else. But, unless it just goes to another album eventually. But yeah, From Zero, highly anticipated by me. I don't think it quite matched the expectations I had, and that is primarily because of the singles that got released. The Emptiness Machine and Heavy as the Crown are two amazing, songs. They're very good. But as far as the rest of the album goes, no song comes close to those two in terms of quality, in my opinion. Maybe Over Each Other's up there as well. Two Face is okay, I suppose. I Gave You Everything I Had is another good one as well. I quite enjoyed that one. But then you've got songs like Overflow, which is a very different kind of song. Stained was good, I enjoyed that one. Good Things Go is also good. I didn't really feel Casualty or Cut the Bridge too much. But no, as far as it goes, yes, it's a good album. I enjoyed my time with From Zero, but as far as the expectations they were setting with the first two singles, I don't think any other song came close to those heights, personally. But again, I guess it's from zero, new beginnings for the band. They're still trying to find out which direction to go, because it would be redundant to just, repeat what they've done in the past with, all the Chester albums. And even those albums came under a lot of criticism when they came out. Of course, the original trilogy of Hybrid Theory, Meteora, and Minutes to Midnight are very, they're very beloved albums by many people, including myself. But everything they released after that, like One More Light, The Hunting Party, Living Things, they're all like really controversial albums. I know people do like them, and there's a lot of people that think, oh yeah, this is good and is better than the original three. It all depends on what you grew up listening to as far as Linkin Park goes, or just as far as the genre goes in general, because you have songs that Linkin Park released that are just unidentifiable as the band, like A Light That Never Comes. I get that's not a standalone Linkin Park song, but you wouldn't expect them to come out with something like that, is what I'm saying. Same with what's it called now? I can't remember what it's called, but it's got a very similar vibe to the previous song I just mentioned. But then obviously songs like Heavy and One More Light, very different kind of songs, and this album has those kind of songs on them too. I enjoy it. I do think From Zero is a good album. It's a good return for Linkin Park. It's a good attempt at a return to form and to try and get people back on the side of the band, because obviously there was a lot of controversy, like I said earlier, when they announced it was coming back with a female singer, and then obviously people started to dig up Emily Armstrong's backstory, and that came under scrutiny because she'd done some shit in the past, and cancel culture being cancel culture tried to get Emily Armstrong off the scene straight away. Now I don't look at that. I separate the art from the artist and the artist from their personal life and whatnot. I don't like doing that. I listen to, it's Architects. One of the band members came under scrutiny a while ago for liking certain posts on Twitter, I remember. But again, I don't like to look at that stuff. At the end of the day, I'm listening to the band for the music. If I enjoy the band members, I will be, I'll gain a liking to them. If they do some controversial shit, I'm never normally one that's like taken aback by it and affected by it. If a certain person does something that's bad, that were viewed as bad, and if it's something like obviously extremely horrible, like the Diddy case, and yeah, fuck that guy. But as far as just like general like smaller issues go, or I wouldn't say third world problems, but you know what I mean, in the general sense where only a certain portion of people will get offended by it, I'm never normally one of them. So as far as Emily goes, I don't mind her. I think she's a good vocalist and whatnot. She's nowhere near as good as Chester Bennington was, but we can't keep comparing the two, because at the end of the day, this is a new project. It's essentially a new band under the same name. But I guess, as the title of the album implies, From Zero, it's a new start, but whilst trying to continue on the legacy of the band, whilst also doing Chester proud and his legacy proud. You can argue it spits on his legacy by releasing this in the first place and getting a new singer. But, as Mike's gone on to say, him and I believe it was Brad, but I'm not too sure. They always sat down and wrote things, but it never went anywhere, because Mike always felt that Linkin Park as a creative outlet was best as a full band, and the only thing they were missing was a lead vocalist, and that was a difficult bridge to, it was a difficult gap. Obviously there is a new drummer as well for when they play live. As far as writing the music goes, I do believe they still use their original drummer, but as a creative outlet, Linkin Park has changed. Things do change. Much like how Architects changed as a creative outlet after the death of was it Dan? Oh no, it was Tom. I think Tom. After Tom passed away, and it's like how Slipknot changed as a creative outlet when Paul passed away, and then again when they replaced Joey. All these different things are what change a band. Very minute things will change bands, and something as big as a vocalist change is bound to change something. Bringing the Horizon switched their style completely when they got Jordan Fish on board, and it led them to success. So Linkin Park, I'm going to guess, are going to try something that's unique for them and lean into something unique for the current industry as well, to try and gain the same success they had back in the early 2000s with their early albums. Because, you know, in the early 2000s, nu metal was massive, and that, you know, they went to that scene, and, you know, they excelled in it. They had two amazing first two albums, and everything was peachy for them. And obviously, as they try to evolve themselves, as, you know, losing their long-term fans, but maybe still trying to lean into what was currently in the market, I guess that's what this is a result of. You know, these songs are nowhere near as, like, you know, heavy or out there as Meteora and Hybrid Theory, which people say is the golden standard, but, you know, they have their own merits. Again, Heavy as the Crown and The Emptiness Machine, you know, very good songs. Heavy as the Crown is very inspired by the early days of Linkin Park. You can tell for sure. It feels like a Meteora track, with elements of Minutes to Midnight, but the rest of this feels like a best-of compilation of what Linkin Park have done in the past while trying to create something new. And I have a feeling when they eventually move on to their next project, whatever that may be, they'll go for something that is completely different from this and take the feedback from this and, you know, try and make something that's more universally, I guess, liked. Because, like I said, I've seen some mixed feedback on this album already, and I get a feeling that it's going to continue to be a mixed reception. Because, again, not everyone's going to come to terms with the fact that this isn't what Linkin Park used to be. You know, as soon as they moved away from their style after Minutes to Midnight and 1,000 Suns, it got controversial. So, like I say, you're not going to ever satisfy everyone, especially the majority of Linkin Park fans. I do prefer the old stuff, but I can get on with this. There's a few songs here I am going to listen to over and over again, I can tell. So, yeah, From Zero, first attempt coming back. I like it. You've done well. I just hope that they use, again, feedback to build upon, you know, what's what, but also continue to push themselves as a creative outlet, because, like Mike said, they thrive best as a band, and if anything, this might be evidence. So, yeah, happy days, I'd say. I'd say it's a welcome return for Linkin Park. Let me know what you thought about From Zero down below. If you want to have that discussion, I'm more than happy to talk music. And yeah, as far as From Zero goes, I'd probably give it a strong 6.5 or a 7, because, like I said, I only really enjoy like 2 or 3 tracks, and 2 of those songs are old songs that we've already heard, you know, being as singles. So again, disappointed on that front, that, you know, a lot of these songs don't quite hit me the way I was hoping they would, but again, it might grow me. But for now, let's call it a 6.5. But that's still, in my opinion, a decent score, because I'm quite you know, strict when it comes to rating and ranking albums and stuff. So yeah, 6.5 on a first attempt at a comeback. Not bad. Again, I guess my expectations were a little bit too high, and rightly so. You know, again, it's one of my favourite bands. You'd expect something to come back and be really good after the material they did release. But yeah, that's it from me. Onwards and upwards for Linkin Park, hopefully. And, you know, again, I'm excited to see what the future holds for these guys. As far as what the future holds for the channel, we're going to go over Slipknot self-titled in the next week or 2, maybe 3, because I'm going to go see Slipknot in just under 30 days, I believe it is now, and they're playing self-titled in full. So I want to go back through it again and just, you know, refresh the noggin. And after we've done that again, you know, just before the New Year's, we're going to start looking at Sleep Token, I think, because, again, Sleep Token, one of the biggest bands in the world right now, headlining Download next year, you know, part of Rock AM Ring, headline a lot of things, so, and it's just a band I've never explored. I've only ever heard one song by Sleep Token, and that being The Summoning, you know, because it went viral. So yeah, excited to see what Sleep Token has to hold. Will they become one of my favourite bands like, you know, Bad Omens have? Time will tell. But yeah, as far as Linkin Park goes, I'm happy, and yeah, it's a good start.